I hope I'm audible to everybody.
Okay, I'm just I'm in the Zoom with you. We're waiting for 5-10 minutes.
Sure,
Okay.
sir. No problem.
Okay, I'm just telling them we're Hello, Sunny.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we would start in 6:35. Okay,
Sure.
5 minutes,
No problem.
5 minutes,
No problem.
and we are recording. Okay,
Sure.
and we will put it on YouTube later on after your recording is done.
Sure. No problem.
Okay, and that is all there. And those who are CISA or ISACA members would be entitled for CPE hours. Okay. 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 Those who are in ISACA members would be entitled for CPE hours. They have to just inform me in my email ID. Okay, and let's wait up to 6:35. You can just share your screen. Do you want a share screen with you?
Yeah, yeah. I'll just share once I,
We started. Okay, I got it. Okay.
correct.
Okay.
I believe.
You want to test it before you go ahead?
Yeah. I think what I have is only a whiteboard to be shared.
Okay, no issue. Okay, done.
Can you give some more permissions? I mean, I'm being the host right now.
So I'm getting this screen also now. Your white screen, I'm seeing it. Okay.
No. It is just a whiteboard. It is just a whiteboard.
Why do I got it? Okay.
No, it's not sharing the desktop. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, whatever you want. I just don't mind. Okay. Chat from somebody has started. Yeah, you are audible. Yes. And let me check it is that's এটা ભાઈ LinkedIn માં કોણ ચેક કરે છે LinkedIn માં લોગિન થઈને એને કે છેકથી છેક સાંભળે એટલે મને કઈ બી અવાજ જતો રહે મને ખબર પડી જોઈએ Falguni is getting it. Okay. Then Zoom is Twitter is also somebody would check in Twitter. And you should have YouTube. Somebody should check in. One person should be in YouTube. Okay, 3 જગ્યા થાય. બીજું 3 જ ને મેઇન તો આપણે. Okay, done.
Nitin, can you just check, because I'm not able to share my desktop. 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing your desktop.
Can you see the presentation?
I can see your this thing. I can see your mouse moving.
No,
I can
that's
see
what
your
I'm
mouse
doing.
moving. Yeah, your mouse is above network now, in password now, in your system preference. Okay.
No, that's a system preference. But 1 second.
Your system preference. Now I'm getting it thoroughly. Yes, whiteboard is there now.
No, I guess you need to change the settings, boss, because I can only share whiteboard, or I can only share.
Where I have to change it? I have allowed it to change. You can be share screen में आ जाओ. Are you able to join share screen? Yes.
Can you see my?
Yeah,
Google
now I'm
Chrome?
able to paste bin आ गया आपका. Web secure bank आ गया.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, you just make it a file.
I hope you can see the Chrome and everything, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
You can make it a big one and F5 कर दो. पूरा screen में आ जाएगा.
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. Just 2 minutes to go for this thing. Sunny, you will introduce yourself for 5 minutes, 2-3 minutes. Okay. Mr. Sunny, you'll be introducing yourself.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be saying only one sentence.
Yeah, no problem. No problems. I'll do that.
Yes, general tendency of the organizer is to introduce the. Okay. Somebody say that I'm joining. Okay. Do you have a link? That's what I'm saying. Okay. Friends, good evening. This is C. Nitin Pathak. We are organizing a seminar on different subject, including ISACA related subject. And today the speaker is very learned, very powerful, very young. And last but not least, when I know that when I was visiting China artificial intelligence site, and the data I have collected on AI, which I love to put on this, put on the slide and put on my presentation on AI. When I heard about AI, and when I'm not a technical guy, but when I go through the slides and presentation, the Mukesh Ambani's wealth, okay, is less than China's few billionaire who are working on AI only. So the amount of possibility for anyone to earn money in India is so huge that is unbelievable. And one of the star player which I see is Mr. Sunny Vaghela. He is young, dynamic, vision, committed, knowledgeable, able to create a team. And I'd seen him growing pillar to pillar. And I wish to see uh, AI companies and AI companies in listed companies list, not only in listed companies list, but they should be able to beat so many billionaires. With this short vision for Sunny Vaghela, I hand over the mic to Sunny. Before I hand over the mic, let me introduce our chapter. Isaka chapter has grown pillar to pillar. When we started, we were far behind, and we have grown in last 2 years more than 50% per annum IIR rate. And today, our president is Dr. Khushro. And Dr. Khushro is today's, he has introduced me to Sunny Vaghela because of some his physical health. He has to go to doctor. Otherwise, Dr. Khushro would have been there. He is also one of the pioneer of this chapter. And every Friday we are taking seminars. Please do join. With this short introduction, I hand over the mic to Sunny. Sunny, you need to introduce for 2-3 minutes about you. Okay, now we start recording. Record on this computer. Okay, with this, I am Isaka chapter founder president. Hand over the mic to Sunny. We are taking Zoom seminar every week. Please do join. With this, hand over to Sunny. Now, floor is yours.
Thank you, Nitin Bhai, for the introduction of mine. So let me tell you about myself. So I started into cybersecurity at a very early age when I was around 17-year-old. The whole journey of mine started with the curiosity of how my account got hacked, and that curiosity I have slowly and gradually I started learning from not a white side of the internet, but on a dark side of the internet about how hacker can able to hack into somebody's account, and that actually got me into the cybersecurity. So you could say that I'm a biscuit. I was a biscuit. I started journey at a very early age, and then slowly, gradually, I turned into a whitehead. Into a hacking. I found certain loopholes into some of the popular social networking websites, and reported a lot of loopholes to many other Fortune 100 to Fortune 500 websites, and that's how the whole journey has started. And it's been almost 13 years. We are into cybersecurity, and I run a company named as Tech Defense Labs. So we are into training, we are into consulting services into cybersecurity. We have set up our own 24/7 SOC in Ahmedabad. So we provide a security operations center as a service to many of our customers, and we have more than 300 plus customers on board, and we are a team close to 100 people in Ahmedabad on the cybersecurity. So with this, let me share my screen. So the presentation, which I prepared is a very basic presentation that would, give you more idea on what, things have happened in past almost 2.5 years of the time in the cybersecurity field, and why the cybersecurity importance has been increasing, day by day. So when I talk about cybersecurity, I always say that there are no more tomorrows. The only reason is because there are a lot of recent hacks, that have taken place that has given a lot of lessons, or people have learned a lot of lessons out of those recent hacks. That has changed a complete perspective of the cybersecurity in India and across the globe. If we talk about only 2 years of the time, or maybe only last 3 to 4 years of the time, these are the total number of accounts, or these are the total number of the user data has been compromised or has been breached. You look at the name of the organizations, they are very popular organizations. And especially in this pandemic, the healthcare organizations are at a target, and they are being targeted, and the accounts of, or the data of those organizations are being breached and are being made available by the hackers online on the internet. If we look at last 2 years, or specifically 3 years, uh, the financial sector is also on the target of almost all the hackers, or the cyber attacks on the financial sectors are not just one, two, or three, or four, but there are 290,000 cyber incidents related to the banking and finance sector, or a fintech startup, or a fintech SMEs, have taken place in only past 2 years of the time. So you look at the number of attacks, or the number of incidents has grown multifolds, and as per the reports, it has grown more than 600% in past almost 2 years, especially after the pandemic. And it's not just the financial organizations, it's not just the enterprises are being targeted, even the startups are also being targeted. Because nowadays India is at a stage that every week we have at least 2 to 3 unicorns who are actually becoming into, or getting into the unicorn club every week. So startups are holding the highest amount of data, and even these startups are also being targeted, and the data has been breached. Some of the interesting case study that I would like to discuss, and then I would like to actually discuss the hackers modus operandi, and where we actually lag behind in terms of the cybersecurity, or where we lag behind in terms of putting controls in our organization, or putting the right processes in our organizations, and putting the right people in our organizations on the cybersecurity. So Yahoo, it has got hacked 4 times. First time it got hacked, and almost 500 million people's accounts have been compromised, and the data was available on the dark web and deep web. Second time 1 billion, and third time it is a 3 billion account. And the only problem is that the hacker was trying to report a problem, and the hacker has not been given a right response. And that was one of the reasons that the Yahoo got breached so many times. You look at Equifax also got a breach, and a lot of US citizen social security numbers, their data, and their every piece of sensitive information was made available by the hackers online on the internet. LinkedIn was breached not just one time, but it got breached almost a good number of times. It is not just one or two times or three times, but it actually got breached almost, you can say that, 3 to 4 times in past almost 3 to 4 years of the time. Musk is also a global IT company. It has, faced a global IT breakdown because of the cyber attack, and they had to stop the operations for around 4 to 5 days just because of the, cyber incidents. If we talk about the largest number of, data breaches, this was the old, figure that I have. Even in 2020 to 2022, even the World Economic Forum report says that the largest number of data breaches have only happened, in India. So as far as the population is concerned, we are actually second in the world. And as far as the data breaches are also concerned, we are actually topping the list, in past almost 2 to 3 years of the time. Even many debit cards, credit cards, have been compromised. SBI, HDFC, ICICI, Yes Bank, they got bursted. Even a lot of other nationalized bank also got hit, in past almost 2 years of the time. The interesting case study that I would like to actually discuss is all about, the Bangladesh bank hack. Here, the person entered into the bank as a vendor, replaced the router into the Swift unit of the bank, and put his own router inside the bank. And he has actually managed to steal almost 80 million, you can say that US dollars, and transferred into different countries also. A lot of cooperative banks were not following the cybersecurity, but after the Cosmos got breached, even RBI realizes that the security should not only be for the nationalized or a private banks in India, but it should be for the cooperative sector in India also. And that has completely changed, the cooperative sector, because now there is one more burden which is there, that is a compliance burden on the cooperative sector too. Here in this case, the hacker has actually hacked into the bank switch. So whenever you go to ATM, withdraw the money gets withdrawn, after the request is being successfully, acknowledged and successfully, you can say that executed by the bank switch after checking the balance available in the banks, you can say that the software. In this case, the hacker has hacked into the bank switch because the bank switch was not updated. He has actually, taken his own switch, cloned his switch, same like a bank switch, and he has actually made this hacker switch as a proxy switch. So when you make it as a proxy switch, ultimately what happens is you can able to monitor the transactions. And the person has started monitoring all the transactions of all the users who are actually transacting, using the Cosmos Bank's ATM cards. In 3 months or 4 months of the time, the person has actually got the details of more than 15,000 cards. And interestingly, those cards are the debit cards. So he cannot directly use the card because RBI has one more, the factor of authentication that is actually known as OTP. So what he can actually do with all the cards? So the person has actually ordered a card cloner, has cloned more than 15,000 cards. And interestingly, you would be surprised to know this, the hacker has created his own website altogether, and he started selling all those cards, at a $20 per card, across the globe. It took him not even a month to send these cards to more than 30 countries in the world, and he has sold around 16,000 cards. And one day, it was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday being a public holiday, Saturday, Sunday was a second Saturday, as a bank holiday. So there were 3 days holidays. And what this person has done, this person has actually, executed the command into the bank switch in such a way that so that hacker switch is now acting as a bank switch in order to, validate all the transactions. And he has sent out a message to all the 16,000 customers of the hacker saying that, this is a PIN number 1234. You can go with that clone card in any of the ATMs and you can start withdrawing the money. You would be surprised that 12,000 Visa transactions have happened amounting 78 crore rupees. 2849 are rupee transactions amounting 2.5 crore rupees and 3 transactions of 13.5 crore rupees. So there are 28 countries ATMs, they are being actually used, across the different, continents in the world. And still the Cosmos has not been able to recover any single penny from any single countries in this. The same problem was available in the bank switch with Pakistani banks also, because switch manufacturer, so it's a problem with the manufacturer of the switch, and the vulnerability, lies not only in the one switch, but all the switches which are used by the same vendor, into different, banks, or developed or manufactured by the same vendor and used into different banks. So even here also $6.5 million has been, stolen into this. Again, you would be surprised that hackers have actually hacked into the, so hackers are not just targeting the IT systems nowadays, but hackers main, you can say that the focus has, or you can say that the hackers main vision is now, shifting from IT to another kind of a technology, which is known as OT technology or an operational technology. So what hackers are actually trying to do, they are trying to attack the automation systems. They are trying to attack the SCADA systems, which are actually used into many of the power plants, many of the manufacturing, systems. And what they are trying to do is they're trying to disrupt the complete business operations of the manufacturing power plant or a power plant. The same happened even in Mumbai also. So there's a power outage in Mumbai. You must be knowing, during the COVID time, the first wave of COVID in 2020. And even when it was investigated, they have come to the conclusion that it was a malware attack that has disrupted a complete southern grid of this particular Mumbai, which was used for the transmission of electricity across the Mumbai. And it took around 6 hours for them to identify the problem, fix the problem, replace the machines, and again make this particular complete grid work. So imagine that, the Mumbai was completely blacked out, for 6 hours, and that was only a cyber attack. The same was there in Germany, that the water treatment plant got attacked and hackers manipulated the chemical mixture itself into the SCADA, and it has resulted into, the very high degree of the temperature, and it has ultimately, resulted into the blast because the furnace could not sustain the temperature. And finally, it was a massive damage into this particular, the power plant also. You would be surprised that not only the manufacturing plant, not only the power plant, not only the organizations which are using these SCADA systems are being attacked, but even the vessels are being targeted in past almost 2.5 years of the time. And as of now, there are more than 50,000 vessels or the ships, which are actually sailing in the sea, across the globe. And you can say that almost all the vessels or all the ships, they are vulnerable to the cyber attack. The only reason behind that, because the firewall, the systems, because when this vessels or such a big vessels, they are being manufactured, almost 20 years back, right? The systems or the architecture of such vessels or the ships are always remain the same. But the problem with here is that what they are trying to do is they're trying to connecting these vessels to an internet. So now every single vessel is now connecting to the internet, and this particular internet is a satellite internet, which is again giving a hacker an edge to get into this vessel using the outdated firewall, outdated operating systems, and such kind of attacks, like which leads to the changing the direction of the vessel, jamming the radar of the vessel, have already happened in the past. So imagine that, we are living in an era where even not on the ground, not in the air, but even the, things which are sailing in the sea are also vulnerable to the cyber attack. So what exactly is the problem? Like most of the organizations, so even if I talk about even such big unicorn startups or the enterprises, or you can say that financial institutions, right? So they do have certain of the compliance burden, and they do actually implement a lot of security solutions in order to secure themselves. But still, most of them are vulnerable, and still most of them are getting hacked. So the big problem lies over here. What most of the people they try to do, they try to create a maze in their complete organizations. So I visited one of the very good nationalized bank, and when I met CISO, and when I met that, the C-level executive, the very interesting fact that I came to know is the CISO has, deployed so many solutions, and all the solutions, or you can say that for any problem that he faces, is procuring a solution from an Israel, is procuring a solution from other part of the world, and is deploying that, thinking in the mind that I have this 10 problems, and this 10 problems are being solved by this 10 solutions. But when I ask some simple questions, the one question is that, are the solutions being deployed in the right architecture? There was no answer. Are the solutions configured properly? There was no answer. Are the security solutions are secured? There is no answer. Because these solutions might detect the vulnerabilities, might detect the problems into, across the IT network, across all the assets in the IT network. But it could be possible that the solution itself has a vulnerability which you have missed out to patch. So there was no answer. And last but not the least, what I can say is, so what organizations are trying to do, they're creating a maze in the organizations. And they always think that, if I create such a complex network infrastructure, keeping 10 solutions, 15 solutions in my network, nobody could be able to solve the maze, or rather nobody would be able to, hack into my infrastructure or hack into my, critical information or a sensitive information of the organization. But that is again a misconception, because the lady who is actually looking at a maze is looking from a top of the maze, and he's not actually looking at, on a ground. So she can easily. So what I can say is security by op security never works. So cybersecurity has never been a product, but it is a process that everybody needs to apply the right processes. Everybody needs some people to manage those particular processes. And on a top of that, you need to recite or you need to put the technology layer. Without a technology layer, it won't work. Or without the technology layer, it won't even sustain also. The other thing that everybody needs to understand that the key trends for cybersecurity, has been changing. I'll just give you a simple example. I said the LinkedIn got hacked, right? I hope you can see my browser. If at all, there is a problem, you can just let me know. I hope you can see the browser. Can anybody tell me whether they can see the browser or not? Yes or no? Okay. So if you look at this, I've just, used one of the website, which is a pest bin. And after the pest bin, I've typed the LinkedIn hack. The moment I've typed LinkedIn hack, I got the complete database of the LinkedIn, which I can download it from this particular Google link, So what I can actually say is, or what I can actually tell you is, that this kind of a LinkedIn database is easily available online on the internet. You can even type, you can even type, the database, that's a big basket, hack database. And what you get is, you get, a link on the dark web, a link on the deep web, and those links are actually going to give you a complete database of the big basket also. So what everybody that needs to understand that the cybersecurity is, or the key trends in the cybersecurity is changing. And when I say it is changing, it is shifting from the servers to users and applications, and they are being undetected. So if I am a normal person and, if I'm a normal hacker, I don't have much of a knowledge. And if I want to hack somebody's account, the first thing what I will do is, I'll go to this haveibeenpawned.com. I'll enter the person's email ID, right? And after entering the email ID, I'll just check whether, the person have been attacked or not. Let us check Nitin Bhai's email ID, ca.nitinpathak@gmail.com. Good news that they are not being attacked so far. But, you can check anybody's email ID and you can see that where they are attacked. Now, when you see that they are attacked already, what they need to do is, in the have I been pawned is, I need to go and I need to, dump the data on the dark web and deep web. And I just search, Nitin Pathak on the dark web and deep web, that whether Nitin Pathak's data is available on the dark web and deep web or not. And let's say, unfortunately, if Nitin Pathak or anybody else is registered on XYZ website, and that XYZ website have been attacked in past almost, in the past years also. And if that person hasn't changed the password, if that person kept the same passwords into other accounts also, that becomes easy for me to get into their particular email account. That becomes easy for me to get into their particular, other company accounts also. And that, becomes easy for me to make them download some botnet, make them download some malware, make them download some ransomware on their computer. And ultimately, I can get into the critical information of the organization's informations also. Because most of the users, they keep the same password, and that is the biggest problem in the whole of the cybersecurity, the fraternity. The other thing is, the knowledge and a skill set which is required to become hacker is decreasing day by day. That is also one of the another reason the attacks have been increasing. So gone are the days the hackers are actually, trying to find your IP, trying to attack on your web, network, do a lot of reconnaissance. Nowadays, it becomes very easy because so many frameworks which are available, so many operating systems which are available, so many, tools which are available, that makes a hacker's work so easier that he can get somebody's data in the matter of clicks. He can use somebody's data in the matter of clicks, and ultimately he can get into anybody's, the account also, and anybody's, the confidential information also. There are other misconceptions that I would like to, clarify over here, that most of the people, they believe that the antivirus is going to protect my computer or firewall is going to protect my website or a database, or an IDS is going to protect my web server and database. And most of the people, they believe that if I have a website, if I keep HTTPS, then it is completely secure. But you need to understand that the antiviruses are working on a specific signatures, and it can only secure those things which are available into the signatures available in the antivirus database. If there is a new malware which is undetected by a hacker using some of the cryptors or applying some custom encryption on that malware, antivirus cannot secure it. The firewall or the IDS or IPS systems are also working on a specific rules, and those specific rules are only being detected. It is like a very simple example I can give. If somebody is entering into an area where there is a face recognition systems, right? The older face recognition I'm talking about, because the newer face recognition are also detecting the mask of the people. So if the older systems are there, it can detect the face and it can detect that yes, this is Sunny. But what if I'll actually wear a big mask and I enter that particular area? The system will not be able to detect me. The same applies over here also. That if the firewall and IDS systems or the IPS systems are there, if you attack in a specific the format, if you attack in the specific scripts, then only it could be able to attack. Otherwise, it won't be able to attack. And most of the people, they always believe that HTTPS is secured. But what I actually say is that it is securing the communication which is happening between the client and between the servers. But if the hacker is also attacking, the hacker's attacks are also being secured, by this particular HTTPS also. So you need to understand that these are the biggest misconceptions when it comes to the cybersecurity. The other misconception is that, I created my website, I've created my network, right? Until and unless, any hacker will not create a security loopholes, nobody can exploit them. And that is again a misconception. Because hackers never create loopholes, hacker never create any kind of a problems. The problems are already created by the people who are developing your network, people who are deploying your architecture of the network, or people who are actually developing your software and making your products also. Because the bad software design, the bad network design, and the implementation of the bad network is invitation to the hackers in order to find a problem and in order to exploit the problem very easily. There are two types of the hacking. One is ethical and other is unethical. But most importantly, we need to understand that what are the different phases of the hacking and how hackers are actually getting into your network, or how the hackers are nowadays getting into anybody's system or anybody's infrastructure also. The one very first step the hackers would do is they first gather the information about anybody, right? They gather the information from the Shodan. Now this is again very interesting, like the information. I was hearing a news yesterday that the army of the Russia is actually targeting the nuclear plant of the Ukraine. But you need to understand one thing, that this nuclear plant of this, Ukraine, right, is using a specific industrial control systems. And if you type the name of the plant into a one simple search engine, Shodan, if you can see right now on my screen, which is open, right, then also I could able to, find out, or then also I could able to, find out what is the IP address of that particular nuclear plant, that even the switches which are available in that nuclear plant, even which router is connected on that particular nuclear plant. So now we are in a connected world, and look at this world is so connected that any new asset that you actually get on the internet, be it your database or be it your web applications or be it your industrial control applications or a network infrastructure, or even if your games also, it is easy for this search engine like Shodan to identify all that, the assets by even the vendors information that is available into some of their, the public informations, on that assets. And what they can do is they can map that information with your organization's information, and they can actually give you the complete picture of your organizations too. So if you look at right now, on the screen, that I'm going to the industrial control systems used by so many, enterprises for their manufacturing plant, for power plant, for anything. Now I'm just selecting this particular Siemens. I'm also selecting this particular G. I'm selecting this Mitsubishi also. And interestingly, I'm selecting a lot of other, the information also. And what you can see right now on the screen, that not just 1, 2, 3, 4 systems, but the total results that I'm getting right now is 52,630 systems, or you can say that the industrial systems which are actually available. If I just want to make my target, one particular country, I can go to view on map, and it would actually convert the complete information of the Siemens systems or the industrial control systems in a particular map too. So you can see that, this red dots will show you that these are the top countries where the systems are being used most frequently. These are the top countries where the systems are actually being used most frequently. So interestingly, what you can see right now is that you can download the results also. And what you are seeing over here on the screen is you are seeing the name of this particular, the industrial control system, what particular PLC that is connected to this industrial control system, what is an IP address that is remotely assigned to that system. Interestingly, what all ports that are available, or what all ports that are actually open on that particular systems. And interestingly, like the key algorithms which are used by the different protocols, and what all protocols that are actually available over here. So even if, even if the hacker has a specific target of a company, hacker can just write the name of the company and just write after this the port 102, and hacker will be able to find out the exact industrial control system which is connected over the internet, or an IT/OT integration which is done, on that industrial control systems, using such a kind of a search engine. And that is what I am actually trying to say, that information gathering is becoming very, very, very easier for anybody, just because the knowledge and a skill set which is required to become hacker is decreasing. Nowadays, there are so many search engines, so many frameworks like open source intelligence, which is known as OSINT. They are available. Very easy tools that are available for anybody to go to dark web, anybody to go to deep web, and get the dump of the data breaches that have taken place in past couple of years. So imagine that, we are connected in such a, we are in a world which is so much connected, in a very small world, where you have one information from a dark web, you have a second information from a Shodan, you have a third information from an OSINT. If you connect all the three dots, you will be able to target anybody and everybody across the globe also. What they generally do is, after targeting, hackers would actually target your emails, hacker would target your systems, hacker would actually go onto the internet vulnerability database to find out whether you are vulnerable or not. And finally, what they try to do is they try to hack into the top management. They gain an access to your firewalls, servers, critical interfaces, and ultimately, last but not the least, they create a persisting backdoor in your system. So this is something which is happening very frequently nowadays. So nowadays, the hackers are not, attacking and disturbing the business immediately. They attack, they keep their backdoor, they keep their presence in that systems for so long time, and they only attack at a specific time, right? So even if there is a war which is going on, and you must have heard that a lot of Russian IPs, a lot of Russian websites are now being attacked. So it's not like the hackers are immediately attacking on it. They are having a vulnerabilities, they are having a loopholes. Hacker has that infrastructure, and now what everybody started doing is they have started coordinating, exchanging informations, and making a target, attack immediately, because of this support in the Ukraine too. So this is something that is happening. And finally, the most of the hackers, what they do is they clear the tracks, from all this particular system. There's a very small, the presentation to make you understand, what are the lessons that are learned, where the world is actually going in terms of cybersecurity, why it has become easy for anybody to hack, and why it has become easy for anybody to, target anyone also. I'll just quickly finish my session, after discussing two of my case studies. And these two case studies say that, Even a small information gathering can even, defraud a person with 130 crore rupees too. You'll be surprised to know that the hackers were having a database of a dark web and a deep web. And this dark web and deep web database was searched to find out one of the Mumbai-based Italian firm CEO's username and passwords. You'll be surprised that they found the username and password of the Mumbai-based Italian firm CEO, and this CEO was ultimately a venture capitalist. After getting the username and the password, they entered into that particular email ID. And the moment they entered into that email ID, they started monitoring that email. And what they have found is that this person is not a small fish, but there is a big fish, which is a venture capitalist and doing a lot of investments into these startups also. Hacker did not attack them. They actually monitored that CEO for almost 6 months of the time in order to understand this business process, that what is the business process of ultimately a VC. So the VC connects to a lot of investors, VC connects to a lot of startups, and this VC becomes a medium for investing the money, get from the investors or his own money and invest it into a particular startup. So the process is so simple. They get the pitch deck, they get the business plans of the people, they evaluate the plans, but last but not the least, it actually ended up into a term sheet. And once that term sheet is signed, the money is being remitted to a particular startup. And what this hacker has actually found, that there is a small loophole in this particular whole process. Because as this particular partner, or you can say that a CEO of the firm, is connected to a particular startup, and his job is to be a one single point of contact for the startups who are actually raising a money more than 100 crore. He is not letting anybody from his office involved in these transactions or in these conversations. And that was a loophole. The loophole is so simple that whatever the account information that they receive after signing the term sheet from the, you can say that the startup founder, they immediately send it to their backend team, and they ask the backend team to process the payment. And this is where the problem started. That in one of the transactions, after the term sheet, after everything was signed, right, when the startup founder sent that particular, bank account details, as the hackers were monitoring his email ID, they immediately deleted that email. They've created a fake email ID of that founder, and he has actually sent a very fake email, immediately after almost 30 to 30 seconds to 1 minute of the time. And that particular email was having the same subject line, and in that same subject line only the bank account details were changed. And after that bank account details was changed, this VC has sent that details to the backend team saying that, hey, please transfer 130 crore rupees in this particular account. And you will be surprised to know this, that the other processes, everything has been done. Even they have got some documents which are also having the fake, you can say that a bank account details. And the money has been transferred. The money has been transferred not into the actual account, but into the fake account. And, the company has lost almost 130 crore rupees within no time also. The another is a very interesting, the case study, which is the Mumbai businessman, which has lost around 1.86 crore rupees into the SIM swap fraud. So generally what happens is, like, when anybody is in the business, even now in the jobs also, banks are always calling for new credit card, that you've got a new offer, we are offering you a pre-approved loan. If you have an existing card, or let's say you get a call saying that, I'm from an HDFC, right? And I'm offering you a card. You said that I do already have a card. Sir, which card you have? If you say that I have a silver card, they might offer you a platinum card also. So the moment, they offer you a platinum card, they ask you for a lot of your details, right? The same applies to this Mumbai businessman, with the lucrative offer of getting some, higher value of the credit card. This guy has installed the app of a hacker, given his, Aadhaar card, given his PAN card, given all this confidential, the ID cards and information to this hacker. And this particular hacker has used this information, created a fake complaint, attached this particular fake complaint with a fake affidavit, went to the store and issued the new SIM card also. But in order to stop the old SIM card, they need to actually send a message. They need to actually verify themselves. So in order to verify the new SIM card, right, they need an old SIM card number also. As the app was installed on his phone, he has got that old SIM card. And what this person started doing is, this person has to anyhow make that businessman switch off his mobile phone. In order to do that, he registered a free VoIP service. He started making almost good number of calls on that number at around 10:30 to 11 in the night. This businessman has got around 100 calls, and just because he's irritated out of this 100 calls, right, he has switched off his phone, right? And you would be surprised to know that the moment he has switched off this phone, this process of registering the new SIM has started, and the new SIM got activated, and finally more than 1.86 crore rupees has been transferred from this particular account. So what I'm trying to make you understand by giving such a small presentation and this case studies is, hacking is, or the cybersecurity incidents are increasing because the hacking is becoming very easier nowadays. By even knowing certain few things, by having a dump of a lot of dark web and a deep web data also, even a person who is 16-year-old sitting somewhere in the corner of the house also can even trigger a cyber war in the world too. So this is the this is where we are actually going. But where we are actually lacking and how do we overcome this issue? So that is also very much important, right? So everybody understands the cybersecurity as an IT problem. They need to understand that IT security or a cybersecurity is no more an IT problem. Most of the organizations, they consider the cybersecurity as a part of their IT budget. But the time has come that you need to have separate budgets. The IT budget should be separated and the cybersecurity budget also to be separated. I'll tell you why. Because if you consider into a same budget, the management commitment will never come to take cybersecurity so seriously. And that is where the problem starts. So it's a boardroom level problem. Everybody needs to perform the maturity assessment. So what generally people are doing, in the market, or people are doing is people go and start adopting a solutions that, I have a network and how do I secure it? I do a firewall, I can take DDoS, I can take load balancers, I can take a lot of solutions, but that won't solve the problem. So considering the cybersecurity as a holistic perspective, performing some maturity assessment based on the standards, and increasing the maturity is something, is very important on the cybersecurity. By technology, solutions will never solve a problem. You need a process also, you need a people too, in order to solve the cybersecurity problems. And the most importantly, the security training or an awareness training. So most of the organizations, they lack on that part too. They do not make people aware about it. And people are also being biggest link. So no matter they have controls, they have process set, they have everything. But if you don't train your people, you're ultimately going to lose, right? If anybody of your employee or anybody, in your organization would download a link, click on the link, download some ransomware too. So this is something, which I feel is a very small thing that is, that everybody needs to do. And they need to create a comprehensive cyber program. So even in Ahmedabad, we as a company, we cater to good number of enterprises where we actually, do a cyber program management. So a very interesting service, we called it a cyber program management. That from reactive to proactive, how do we actually secure, or how do you get secured on the cybersecurity front? So we create their assurance compliance, we do their complete vulnerability management, and we do even proactively monitor them. So, and most importantly, we do govern also. Because sometimes if you have a governing activity, which is in-house governing activity, could be possible that you always see all green, 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 and you can never see a red dots in your organizations too. So being a third party, when they give it to us, they get a very good opinion, they get a very good, way to understand that whether, all these pillars of the cybersecurity in my organizations are growing, are actually going in a right, pace or a right manner or not. Some safety tips, before I wind up the session. So everybody is a target of hacker. People need to understand that you need to keep your software up to date. avoid phishing scams, don't click on the links. Please keep good password, management. Don't keep the same passwords. Make sure you shut down your systems. Don't, let anybody use your mobile phone so freely or so easily, right? Do not take USB or any hard drives that you find anywhere on the ground, and you take it back at your home. Don't send your credentials, and make sure, go to have I been pawned, check your credentials regularly, whether you're already breached or not, because you never know, right? If I ask anybody that, without looking at your phone, tell me how many number of apps that are installed on your phone. Not even a single person who are seeing the sessions on a streaming platforms or attending the sessions over a Zoom can able to tell me that how many number of apps and what are the names of the apps that are there in my phone. So when we don't know that, how many websites we already have given a data, how do we sure about our username and the password? So the only way is you need to go to such websites, check regularly whether those websites are breached or not. And if you see that you're already breached, you need to dig down to see the details that when this breach has happened, whether my data is there in the breach or not. And if you see that there is a data which is there in the breach, and this was the password that was there in the breach, you need to immediately change all the passwords. So this is the best way to do that. And this is a very frequent way that how the hackers are actually attacking nowadays. Most of the organizations, even including Twitter, including Facebook also, right, where you have seen a lot of other celebrities' accounts are also attacked by even attacking the admin panels of such networking platforms too. So these are the safety tips that I can actually give you, and with this, I'll just wind up the session. I've kept my session very short and sweet, very crisp also. I wanted to give you a lot of demonstrations, but as we are streaming live on this platform, I've limited not to show any offensive, demonstrations on this. If anybody would have any questions, please feel free to ask this.
I allowed everybody to unmute themselves. So anybody wants to unmute and ask a question, you can do it now. Okay. Anybody has a question on this? So if any compliance is taken as a compliance, it doesn't serve anyone. If it serves as a value addition to the organization as a part of a corporate governance. And today, if you look at the war which is between going on between Russia and Ukraine, the cyber game is one of the most important part of the game. Anyone can hack, make, and they can let them play the way they want. And Russians are very master. Even Ukraine are very powerful in hacking. If you look at the data where the ransomware getting crypto, and what is the crypto address is mostly from Ukraine and Russia. Crypto address is a place where you can see this has been surveyed a very long, and it has been shown there also. I have put a paper on whether SWIFT ban will impact the Russian economy or not. When I started learning on that, one of the things which have come into the forum was a malware being used by Russian, and they will be able to hidden, and they would allow to export them when they receive the money. One of the way of receiving money is also crypto also. So the war today, firstly, I know when Trump was fighting the election, he said that I would physically send the papers from one embassy to another embassy. Why he was saying so just 7 years back was because he knows that all their embassies are hacked. Any information which is going from one agency, one embassy to other embassy, is hacked. And this is the cyber game right now. इवन साइबर गेम आपके घर पे आके आपका वो क्या बोलते हैं नेटफ्लिक्स का जो भी है वो लाइव करके आपके घर में से पूरा का पूरा They can see your TV or you see yourself also. Am I right, Dr. Mr. Shani?
Yeah, yeah, very much, very much.
And तो साइबर पहले घर में आके लोग चोरी चोरी कर जाते थे, बट नाउ दे डोंट नीड टू कम टू योर प्लेस. एंड जो जामतारा में जो बताते थे, जामतारा विच वाज वेरी फेमस on credit card hacking. Okay, and they have the whole area has become rich by hacking only. Jamtara is the area's name. Now this is the voluminous and importance of the cyber. Anyone else has a question? I've kept open. Anybody can unmute themselves and ask the question. You can type the question, or you can contact us through. Can you give your address or email ID so that people can come
I'll
and
just do that. Yeah.
so anyone can come and ask you the question. And your PPT is already there, so your PPT can be shared. Sani at the tech.defenselab.com.
Defenselabs.com. Yeah.
So this address is available on this chat. Any question last minute? Can we conclude right now? Anyone has a question? No question. Just with this, we are concluding the session today. And thanks. Next Sunday also, next Friday also, there is a talk on legality aspects by Advocate Avishal Sinha. He would talk from Bangalore. He is appearing in High Court as a cyber security person. So I would declare the same very shortly. With this, thanks, Mr. Sunny, for coming to this class, allowing us to hear your views on this thing. Thanks. We are concluding the session. See you once again. Join next Friday. On this, those who want to have a claim the CPE, just email me. I would grant the CPE to you. Thank you very much. Nitin Patak,
Thank you.
gmail.com. Thank you once again.